Hey, what's up YouTube? Down on the Smartphone Guy coming back at you with another video, and tonight we're going to take a look at a new device to me. It's a device that's been out for about a month now. It is the LG K20 Plus. This is currently available on Metro PCS and T-Mobile. I have the T-Mobile variant, but it is again available on Metro PCS. On T-Mobile right now, it's available for $175. On Metro PCS, you can pick it up for $120. So if you guys are interested, I do have some devices that compete pretty well with it. So this is the LG Aristo, also available on those two carriers that I mentioned. Also the ZTE Z Max Pro. And another device that I just finished reviewing, this is the Blue R1 Plus, which if you're watching this on April 29th is available this day, 24 hours only, for $110. After that, it goes up to $160. So definitely check that out, and I'll leave a link down in the description. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the specs of the K20 Plus. So you can see here that we have a 5.3-inch 720p display. It says it's an in-cell display. I'm not really sure what that means, but I will say that for me, it's not the most vibrant of displays, but it could be just the theme that I have on there right now. As we get into the full review, which will happen probably about a week, maybe that might change once I put my own theming on the device. So let's go ahead and jump into the next thing. So we have a 13 megapixel camera on the rear, a 5 megapixel camera up front. It is rocking a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor. That is the Snapdragon 425, Qualcomm Snapdragon 425, and it has 2 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of onboard storage. It has a fingerprint sensor on the back as well, which I will mention works very, very well. So we'll go ahead and just demonstrate that real quick. So turn it off. So it's a power button / fingerprint sensor. So I'll go ahead and touch that. And there you go, real fast. And it is very, very reliable so far. Lots of fingerprints on my display at the moment, but that is actually on a screen protector that it came with, sort of. You can see that it does say peel on there. I just have not peeled it off because, well, why not just leave it on there? And then it has a 2700 milliamp hour battery that is completely removable. And so far, I will say this, that the battery life seems like it's going to be excellent. So right now you can see it's at 93%. In about 10 minutes when this review is done, we'll check it again just to see where we're at. But for now, I'm going to say the battery life seems really good. So there you go. We can remove the back pretty simply. That's the 2700 milliamp hour battery, and it is completely removable. And underneath there we have a nano SIM. That's where you're going to put your nano SIM. I don't have mine in there at the moment because I'm reviewing a different phone. And then we have our micro SD slot. And typical with LG phones, it won't give you the option to put it in as adaptable storage when you plug in that SD card, but you can move apps over to it. Just you have to use some finagling a little bit, which I'll show once I get to that full review. So with that being said, this does of course have LG software, very similar to the LG Aristo. They're actually identical software. Nothing that I can really see that's any different, except this one has some fingerprint options that aren't available on the Aristo. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the software. They are both running Android 7.0, so jump in here all the way down to About Phone. And where's it at? Where's it at? Software info. And there it is, Android 7.0. And I did actually just get an update. So now it's on the March security patch. When I first opened it out of the box, it had the February security patch. So already got one update. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that you can change in the settings, because these are some of the things that you might be interested in. So first thing that I like to do anytime I get an LG phone is that they always start out in tab view, so you have to slide through these different tabs. I like it in list view. Easier for me to look at. So up here we have our wireless networks, and this does not have NFC, so I'll go ahead and look at that. So notice there is no NFC. Okay, that's the first thing to notice. And then coming down here to device, some of the things worth mentioning that you can tweak in LG software is the display. So coming down here, okay, there it is. So there's knock on. So like most LG phones, this does have the ability to double tap to knock it on, to turn the device on or off, or the display on or off. And then we do have a screensaver there as well. Another thing that we want to look at is the lock screen. So of course this one has the fingerprint scanner option, but then we have the power key instantly locks it. Okay, so that's not really anything new there. We do have the themes, which I will say LG has some awesome themes. To get most of those themes, you'll want to go to LG Smart World, and that is, you know, for instance, this was a theme that I got for the LG Aristo off of LG Smart World. Of course, you can put a different launcher on it. It is Android after all, so that's a nice option. And we're going to skip over this stuff and jump down into, where's it at? Where's it at? Shortcut keys, because there's some cool options in here. So we do have an option to use the fingerprint sensor to take a selfie, which is really nice because when you're holding the phone like this, it just kind of makes sense to do that. Then we do have the option to use that for a screenshot as well. You can use your volume buttons here to open Capture Plus or Camera, so I'll go ahead and turn the display off and just show you that. So if I double tap the volume down, jumps right into the camera, so that's a good option as well. Okay, get back into the device. And one other thing I want to mention, because this is important to a lot of people, is how do you get the app drawer. So you want to go into the display, and you want to go all the way up to, where's it at? The wrong one. We want to go to home screen. There it is. Okay, and we want to go to select home. And so the home is the one that it comes defaulted with. You want to jump down to home and app drawer, and then you get your app drawer options. So in terms of bloatware, it does of course come with the typical LG bloatware. It will also come with just a little bit of T-Mobile bloatware, but that's all the stuff that you're going to need to use it on T-Mobile anyways. So I don't really know that you could call it bloatware. All of the rest of the apps that are on here are apps that I've thrown on. So not a ton of bloatware, but definitely LG likes to throw on a few bloatware apps. So for the most part, relatively stock. So the next thing I want to jump into is the camera. And again, 13 megapixel camera on the back. I'm just going to show you a few pictures that it's done so far. And from what I can tell, it basically looks like the same shutter that you get on the LG Aristo. Again, this is also a 13 megapixel camera on the back and 5 on the front. And the Aristo took decent shots. So far I would say that it seems like this one's about the same in low light. You can see this is kind of a lower light picture. It does struggle a little bit, but for a budget phone, that's to be expected. There is a picture with that front-facing camera. I don't know who that hideous man is. There's just a picture of a cup. But so far, I would say, you know, obviously once we get into the full review, I'll do a lot more extensive look at the camera. But for now, I'll say the camera is good, but not great. Certainly not great. Same thing with the front-facing camera. Takes reasonable pictures, but not fantastic pictures. In terms of gaming, I do want to show you that. So actually, let's just go ahead and so you can see that I've got a few apps open. Let's just kind of jump around from app to app just to kind of test that processor a little bit. So you can see it's going to have to reload NBA Jam. And I'm just going to show you what gaming is like just kind of briefly. We're not going to play much here, just to kind of show you how long it takes to load and then what the gameplay is like. So I did already finish 1 or 2 games on here, but it was downloading apps at the same time, so that takes a pretty huge toll on that processor. By the way, go Warriors. So let's go ahead and see if we get any stutters while we're playing, kind of give us an idea of whether this is going to be doable. Oh, come on now. Alright, so far it seems alright. Now again, I played it earlier, and I didn't have too much of an issue playing. This is NBA Jam, obviously. I didn't have too many issues playing it. But while I was downloading all those apps, it did stutter just a little bit, but that's because it was downloading apps at the same time. All right, Stephen Curry, you're going to have to eventually make one of those. Can't make Iguodala make everything. All right, so gameplay, I mean, that's kind of, it's not the heaviest game, but it's kind of in the middle, and it plays that one just fine. But we'll do some more extensive gaming tests on here. I'm not a huge gamer, but we're going to at least test it out just to see how it handles that. So with that being said, the last thing I want to do for this review is we're going to listen to some music real quick just to see how that sounds. Actually, let's not do Google Play Music. Get out of that. And we're going to jump into YouTube instead. And we will search a band that I know. It's not really a band, but it is a Let's just listen to this review of the Blue R1 Plus. Hey, I know that guy. Just to see what that... We'll crank it up here. Coming back at you with another video, and tonight we're going to take a look at a brand new device from Blue, bold like us, and this is the... Okay, so now we're going to put it right to my microphone. Real quick shout out to Blue for sending this to me for review. Thank you, Blue. And let's go ahead and take a look at this device. Okay, so the speaker does get relatively loud, but of course with it being rear firing, it's not in the best position, but it's relatively loud, and when you're listening to music, which I did earlier, it is a little bit tinny, but, you know, to be expected for a budget device. So I'm actually going to go ahead and let you guys listen to some music real quick, just to kind of get a better idea. So I'll go to Argo Fox, go to Cloud9, that's a good one. And this has kind of a good mix of... So you can probably hear it there. Just a little bit tinny. I'll put it up to the microphone. Okay. So overall, I would say for a budget device, I like the package that LG offers here. Now, are there better budget devices? So far, I kind of lean towards yes. The Moto G5 Plus, for instance, is one that I would definitely recommend probably over this, but that is a completely unlocked phone, and you can pick that one up on Amazon. I'll leave a link down in the description for that as well, just for fun. But even this Blue R1 Plus, I would say right now for me, might be a little bit of a better option, a little bit more RAM there. But overall, I think the K20 Plus seems like a very good device. At this point, I'm going to do a much more extensive look at it as we get into the review process. And if you guys are interested, let me know if you want to see some comparisons to some of these other phones that I mentioned. So the LG Aristo, the ZTE Z Max Pro, the Blue. So all phones that I can compare it to if you are interested. So anyways, for now, we're going to go ahead and say thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.